A monster night in the heavyweight division. As we just saw, announced last night, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, they're going to have their third fight, the rematch, the rubber match for the WBC and Ring Magazine heavyweight titles. Earlier that night, official now today, Joyce, the unbeaten WBO #2, the British Commonwealth, WBC silver, the European champion. He's got belts coming out of his ears. He'll be back, and he'll be taking on France's Carlos Takam, a man that we know on these shores. It's going to take place at the SSE Arena, Wembley, July 24th. A heavy, heavy night. With me, I have Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren, the man putting the show on. I have Sam Jones, who is one half of S-Jam Boxing, Joe Joyce's management group. And of course, I have the juggernaut himself, who is making me look even shorter today. Frank, I'm going to start with you. July 24th, a heavy, heavy night. Talk us through it.
Well, it is. I mean, you know, Joe's been very patient. He's been waiting, what now, 7 months for your fight. And that's not been down to us, by the way. That's been down to the fact of the negotiations that were dragged out and going on for ages that came to nothing between Tyson and AJ. We had to preserve his position as #2 because had that fight gone ahead, he would have fought Usyk. Anyway, that didn't happen. So now he's got a really good opponent. It's a good fight for him. Everybody knows who Takam is. He can't afford to slip up. Hopefully Joshua will get this fight sorted out with Usyk. As soon as he does that, Joe will be installed as the mandatory challenger. So he can't slip up. He's got his seat at the table now, and he's got to look good and do the business on the night. And, you know, looking at him and the way he's kept himself in such great condition since his win over Daniel, you've got to fancy him to do that. I know he's chomping at the bit. He's complained to me, as is his manager, continuously, but it's all been beyond my control. But now the moment has come. 24th July, Wembley, go and do the business.
What sort of timeline are we looking at for Joe to be perhaps installed as mandatory? Obviously, it looks like it's going to be Anthony Joshua against Usyk. Usyk is the mandatory. When would Joe get his shot, should he come through Carlos Takam?
Well, he will be, as soon as they announce the date of that fight, he will automatically be installed at #1 and be the mandatory. When he gets his shot, I don't think it'll be this year, because for various reasons. I don't want to sort of keep banging on about the fight that never happened. We'll see what happens with that one, if it can be resurrected. But in the meantime, all Joe can do is keep busy, maintain his position, and that gets him a shot against the WBO champion. That's what will happen.
We talk about maintaining his position. I mean, it would have been surely easy to take a nice, easy fight to keep him warm. Why have you gone for Carlos Takam, of all people, who we saw gave Anthony Joshua a bit of trouble in their fight?
I think to be fair to Joe and also to Sam and Adam, his management team, we've had quite lengthy discussions about who he wanted to fight. He didn't want that option. They said they wanted, and you've got to admire him for that. They said no. We know he's been out for a while, and no one would complain if he was going to fight something a little bit easier. No, he wants to get in with somebody who the public know and know what to expect. So you know that Takam's going to come to fight. That's what Joe's got in front of him. So, you know, hats off to him for doing that. And as I say, he wants to show, and I think he's been demonstrating it, certainly his last few fights, that he is a guy who is within the next year will be fighting and challenging for a world title.
Sam, I'm going to come to you. You have been banging the drum for Joe Joyce for years now, banging it very loud. I think you had a megaphone on the bus this morning as well. You're always
broken. It was broken, but I didn't need a megaphone.
It wasn't a megaphone. That was him.
That was Sam Jones. Tell us, are you stood next to Britain's next world heavyweight champion?
Yeah, look, I've said it from the beginning. We matched him against Ian Lewison on a 10-round debut from the beginning, and I told everybody before, as I say, going into his last fight, he was an underdog. I told everybody he was going to win. He went in there, he won, and this is Joe's time now. And we told Frank we didn't want to go backwards. We wanted to go forwards, and we wanted to. Joe wanted a tough challenge, and he could have had a much easier fight. But Joe, it's not really down to me or Adam. It was Joe that said, no, I'll fight him. So it's a testament to Joe and his self-belief, his belief in himself.
Joe was the underdog against Daniel Dubois. When the Usyk fight was talked about, and it looked for so long like it was going to happen, it felt like Joe was the underdog heading into that fight as well.
Yeah.
Why does Joe Joyce get written off?
Because from the beginning, like everyone said, he's slow, he looks ponderous. Well, when he's in there, everybody that's been in the ring with Joe, every heavyweight that will tell you, whether you've sparred him or you've boxed him, it's a whole different proposition when you've got a 19-stone man coming at you constantly. He's like a wasp. He will not leave you alone, and it's a goddamn big wasp.
Hornet.
A hornet, yeah.
Asian hornet.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, should we switch it from the Juggernaut to the Hornet? It's not as good, is it?
Green bee.
The Green Bee, ladies and gentlemen. Sam, tell me, obviously we're going to hear from Joe very shortly. You're speaking to him every day, I would imagine, in the gym with him. From your perspective, what is the Juggernaut's mindset right now? There's been a bit of frustration, there's been a delay.
No, listen, in boxing, nothing's certain. I mean, the last fight had that many announcements. After the 20th announcement, I said to Joe, I said, look, listen, we have to... we delayed flying in the Southpaw sparring for Usyk because we started to become a little bit sceptical of the fight happening. And Joe's a professional. He stayed in the gym, he's kept himself, he's kept his mind right, and you can see by the shape of him now, he's ready to go. And listen, Takam, he's got muscles growing off his armpits, he's always game. And he gives everyone tough fights. He's been fighting at the world level, and Joe's going to be more than ready for him. And listen, Joe's got to perform as well. Joe's under pressure. He's got to perform. He's got to keep his position where he is in the WBO. And it's no easy fight, but we're confident in him that he's going to do a real number on him as well.
I've heard you say before that Tyson Fury aside, Joe would beat everyone out there. Tell us more about that.
Listen, Tyson I've known for a long, long time. He's a genius of a fighter. He really is. When you watch him spar, it's like trying to hit confetti. However, on Joe's day, he will beat any man. Tyson Fury, as you see, when he boxed Otto, while he was slightly off it. On his day, Tyson has solidified himself, in my opinion, as the #1 heavyweight in the world. But I back Joe to beat anybody on Joe's day. But Tyson would probably, I don't know with Tyson how long he's going to last for in boxing. It's just all about his motivation. Interesting to see the Wilder fight. I mean, he beat him so conclusively last time. Is he really going to be up for this fight? But let's see. There's some questions to be asked there. But hopefully by the end of the year, AJ and Tyson will get it on, and then Joe will get to fight the winner. And I believe on his day, Joe, as I say, Joe can beat any man on his day.
Well, let's hear from the man himself, the newly crowned, what was it, Green Bee, I think you're calling yourself?
No, I'm not there. Scratch that. The Juggernaut, staying.
Not Green Bee. Tell me, obviously the Fury-Joshua fight looked like it was on, then off, in terms of, if you're just watching the news, you keep hearing different things every day. No one was probably being more affected, actually, than you. Every day, am I going to fight Usyk, or what am I going to do? How did you keep yourself sane during that period?
I obviously went in the gym, was practicing some like southpaw like techniques and stuff like that. Like the fight was going to happen, but boxing I've known a long time since I started it. It's all very unpredictable and it's exciting. So you never really know what's going to happen, and there's a lot of different, stuff that goes on, and things happen and things change. So I'm always like kind of, I've kept myself ready. I've stayed off the donuts and the beers, so I'm in good shape. I've been training like I was going to fight Usyk, but now it's going to be Takam. It's familiar. He's not southpaw. He's orthodox. So I'm confident in my abilities in this fight.
So this morning you spent the day on an open-top bus going through London with, of course, your manager Sam Jones, who had a megaphone, by the way, which, as Frank said, stopped working, but it wasn't needed anyway. Joe, do you feel like you are getting closer and closer to a world title? That's what today's all about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm definitely like a stone's throw away or in touching distance, and I'm ready to mix it with whoever's got the belts or the fights that make sense. I'm in this kind of zone where it's these big fights, so that's why I accepted the fight with Takam, because he's a good name, he's a good experienced fighter, and he's strong. He always comes in shape. It looks good. I mean, look at him there on the poster. So it's going to be a great fight on July 24th.
What are you expecting from Takam then? I mean, You're about the same sort of size as Anthony Joshua, right? Probably
Yeah.
quite a bit different, but he was able to get inside and move his head well and things like that. What are you expecting from him?
Yeah, so he's a bit of a shorter stature fighter, so he'll be wanting to get in range. He throws them like big like dangerous hooks and try and get under my jab. Yeah, so it's going to be a difficult fight because I might have to punch down a bit. He's got quite long arms as well. He's got a bit of a reach, and he's a great fighter. So I'm preparing in the gym. I'm already pretty much ready. I just need to increase the sparring rounds and I'm ready to go. So I'm just looking forward to getting back in the ring.
When you think of yourself fighting for a world title, in your head, because I'm sure you imagine this, who do you see in the opposite corner?
Right now, it's a bit up in the air. I need to, there's a few fights that need to be sorted out, but I could fight any of these big names for the world titles. That's what I'm in the sport for. I rose through the ranks in the amateurs. Here we go. I'm bringing it back to the past, but they're gonna apparently they're looking into it again. But
get the gold medal.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So.
I plan to do that. There's a plan that I set out. There's short-term plans, right? Get on the GB team. So I've done and make the steps. But the same thing in the professional. I said I was going to do that. I said I was going to win all the belts and get to a world title and win a world title. And I was almost in touching distance of challenging for the undisputed. So I'm right there, and I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to my destination. So it's just a matter about when.
Well, with regards to the WBO title, do you have a preference as to who you'd rather fight? Say it's Anthony Joshua against Usyk. It looks like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Who would you prefer to win? Who do you want to get in there with?
Anthony Joshua.
Good answer.
The money for
Anthony Joshua, or Tyson Fury. I can't wait to see. I'm so disappointed that fight's not happening yet, but let's hope it happens for all the belts because that's what everyone wants to see. And and then I'll fight the winner.
Why do you think people write you off, Joe? Why were you the underdog against Daniel Dubois despite your vast amateur experience? Why were you the underdog against Usyk despite being so much bigger than him?
I don't know. I sense a pattern. I always seem to be the underdog, but then I always seem to pull through in the end. I don't know. It's funny. But I don't mind. It's less pressure. And, I don't put pressure on myself. I just make sure I do the work in the gym and perform on the night.
Fans are back as well on July 24th.
No fans.
Well, I'd hope you have got fans.
We have got fans on the ground. Yeah. So it should be good.
I mean, your career best win so far happened behind closed doors, so you must be quite hyped about having fans there.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's so much better. Just the pickup of energy. Like when the big shots hit, and then when you walk at the entrance music and people, all the sea of faces, it was missing in such a great fight against Dubois. That would have been amazing if it, we can talk about what had been, but we have to, what could have been. But we're living in the present and we're looking to the future to put on some amazing fights. So I'm just, I feel like I'm in a good place and I'm ready for action.
And it's going to be a heavy night. That's what the show's titled. Do you see yourself staying up to watch the trilogy fight between Wilder and Fury?
Yeah, I'm going to beat up Takam, and then I'm going to be excited. I'm going to be watching back my fight, and then I won't be able to sleep. Of course, I'm staying up anyway for that fight.
He'll be on his PlayStation.
What do you mean? It's PC now.
Oh, PC, yeah.
I'm PC Master Race.
Yeah. Yeah. Before the fight with Dubois, Joe paused his game, went to the arena, and I'm not joking. He came back, unpaused his game, and carried on with his game after he won. Wow. With a pizza next to him. True story.
Wow, that's quite.
And he nicked a slice.
Yeah. More than one.
I don't think it's particularly environmentally friendly. I mean, my PlayStation turns itself off after a little bit, so that's.
It was the hotel that.
Yeah.
So it was
Hotel.
all right.
So I didn't have to pay.
It's coming off the bill. I got that hotel room bill.
But Joe, on that night then, how do you see Wilder Fury happening, the third fight? What's going to happen in there?
So now Wilder's got a new trainer in Malik Scott, and Malik Scott has been his Wilder's sparring partner, like imitating Tyson, so he knows him inside and out, and he's a great coach. So he's like working on stuff, but he hasn't really, you know, is he going to be able to change enough to do much different? And he's obviously always got that equaliser, that big finisher punch, but then Fury took it and got back up. So it's still going to be an entertaining fight, but you know, Fury for me, like he's so much better. Like his skills are so much better. He rises to the occasion, but yeah, I think it's just going to be a formality because he beat him comfortably in the last one. I thought he won the first one as well. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, you know, it's still an exciting fight. Wilder's always dangerous, and you know what he's been working on might make the difference. But I see another Fury win.
Well, back to you then. Earlier on that night, what's the prediction? Joe Joyce against Carlos Takam.
Joe Joyce by stoppage or knockout. Actually, no, I'm not gonna round predict. Don't do it. All right.
Don't do it. Okay. All right, Frank. Back to you. Final kind of words. Why should fans come along on July 24th and get involved in this heavy night?
Well, because you know the big man's there. They want to come and see him. I mean, he's undefeated. He's done everything that's asked of him. You know, even as an amateur silver medalist, and hopefully he's going to get the gold if I'm hearing right what's been going on at the moment. But facts of life are that he's a winner, and he's continuing to win, and everything's on the line for him. So what you're going to get out of Joe Joyce is the best Joe Joyce against Takam, because if it isn't the best, he's got a problem. And I think seeing the best of Joe Joyce, the fans are going to love him.
Fans are going to love him. Fans already love him. July 24th, the SSE Arena, Wembley. A heavy night. Tickets will be on sale very soon. Keep an eye out on our social media platforms, Frank Warren and Queensberry, and it's axs.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you all on the 24th of July.